So today I couldn't fit it in the title, but basically what we're going to go over with Saturn and Jupiter is Saturn to Saturn and Jupiter to Jupiter. Okay, so these are very significant in relationships, especially in long-term ones and marriages. Now, are they gonna, but let me just give a qualifier here. They will not trump moon compatibility and they will not trump malefic deal breakers, okay? So I do see a lot of clients that come to me where they have like Saturn trine Saturn or Saturn conjunct Saturn, because you're going to have that conjunction with anyone near your age. And it is really good to have those generational planets in common. So for a lot of people, dating someone close to your age is really good. But for some people, so for example, really quickly, my sister is dating a guy born the same day as her. And the moon did change from Cancer to Leo that day. But I did check and their moons are both in Cancer. So they have all their planets conjunct and, you know, a little bit variance of an orb. But they have very nice natal aspects. So for them, it works. But for someone like me with the Grand Cross, which I always mention, I've met a guy or two that was born within a few days. One was, I'm April 11th, he was April 10th the same year. But he was like lying to me, telling me that he was born in Spain, and he was born in California. So, you know, there's Mercury square Uranus for you, which we both have natally. So we have it going both ways, double whammy, just a bunch of, you know, and I think our Mercuries are both in Neptune. So he's just playing games and confusing me. And because I thought about that too, like Mercury is debilitated in Pisces, which I have, which is why I flub a lot, you guys. And actually, I've seen some tarot readers lately kind of tripping over their words. I think because Mercury is about to go retrograde. Mercury rules communication. So I feel like Mercury in Pisces is almost like having Mercury square Neptune, because Neptune rules Pisces, you know? So I thought of that lately. So anyways, we're going to get into it, but I'll give you guys a moment to get in here. I know it's like 5 p.m. on a Friday on the West Coast, 5:30. So I'm sure a lot of you are like getting ready for your weekend or getting off work and you're not going to be on here, but I wanted to do this yesterday. I'm super tired if you can't tell, but I got fixated on making you guys a cafe astrology version of the free compatibility report without the birth times. And I started it a year ago in March, a year ago. I wanted to do that and I just kind of figured out how to do it. So I was like up all night playing with the charts. I spent all yesterday afternoon just on the computer. And my brain got really frazzled. So I got it mostly done. The wheel isn't quite how I want it. I'm kind of playing with it still, but it's done enough where you guys can go use it. And I'm not gonna edit it in the front end anymore. So I'll just update the changes as I make them. But I was able to sort of like take out the midheaven and the ascendant, and it already automatically will take out the moon contacts because you're running it without the birth time. So I've had people come on my channel, or I don't know, maybe clients have said to me before I had a good rebuttal for it, like, well, you can't look at that stuff without the birth times. Well, in 2018, when I had these downloads about the synastry aspects, and I told you guys I was talking to a Virgo moon client the other day, and he said he's been looking at these charts for years, and I had been doing that for about, I want to say about 15 years. It was, let's see, 2005 is probably when I started using 0800 and Cafe without the birth times. So, and 2018 is, so about 13 years it took me before I had these clicks where I'm like, okay, so if you run on my site or on Cafe Astrology a free compatibility report without the birth times, you're going to get, if you don't really know much about what the planets mean and stuff, you're going to get, say you go run you and whoever you're interested in, you'll get a bunch of positive aspects and a bunch of negative aspects, and it can be kind of confusing. So it literally took like a decade and a half for me to figure out what trumps what. That's what we talk about. Like I'm telling you, Saturn trine Saturn, it's really wonderful to have in a relationship, and it will make you feel like this, you know, this is somebody you could be with for a long time and there's a lot of longevity. But if your moons are not compatible, like say it's somebody born a month away from you, so your Saturns are conjunct, which gives you this sense of like wanting to be with them, and you both have a long-term goal and you both want to commit to each other. If your moons are not compatible, it's still not going to trump that. So it takes a lot of time to kind of sort out what overpowers what, and I'm still sifting through it. But the cool thing is I talk to clients every day that I verify these things. So if a client comes to me and I look at the chart and the only thing wrong is Mars square Jupiter, usually their complaint is, I'm like, the first thing I ask is, how long have you been dating? And they're like, 2 months. And I'm like, yeah, it's a 2 to 4 month romance. So even though they have their Saturns conjunct, it's not the one for them. They could meet someone else they have their Saturns conjunct with that's around their age, that they have better aspects with. So when I'm talking about Saturn to Saturn and Jupiter to Jupiter, it in no way trumps moon compatibility or malefic, deal breaker, or divorce aspects. Because you're going to have this compatibility with a lot of people out there. But if you find someone that you have moon compatibility with and no malefic aspects with, and you have good Saturn and Jupiter aspects, it's really going to enhance the connection, give it a lot of it's going to solidify it and give it longevity. Jupiter is going to bring a lot of luck. It's going to make you two want to officialize the relationship. One of you, it was Andrew, he's been on here a lot lately, was asking me about the quindecile, because he says he has this with his twin flame, Saturn, quindecile, Saturn. So, and I've been looking more into that. You know, I was just reading something about, it's on lindagoodman.com. Those forums are really good, because it's a lot of people that just kind of self-study, that talk on there, that write on there. So you can learn a lot on there. It's very legitimate. It's kind of like when you guys come in and comment. So basically, before we jumped all the way into Saturn and Pluto, I just do want to say that if you want to test out the new free compatibility report without birth times that I have, it again is the same sort of, it's similar to the Cafe Astrology one, because I'm not going to be referring people out to Cafe Astrology anymore. It's still, I downloaded all the definitions that I've already written into divinetimingdatabase.com if you create your own free private database. And if you have the birth times or even one birth time, I recommend that you use divinetimingdatabase.com and just create a free private database, because you can enter your birth date one time. All you have to do is remember your username and password, and then whoever you meet, you can add as many people as you want. It's unlimited storage on there. It's infinite. So you can literally add, you know, 1,000 people in there, and you can run yourself with them instantly, and you never have to write your birth date in again. So I do have the ability to make like another page, and Cafe Astrology has this. Actually, it's kind of tricky on Cafe Astrology with birth times. Like you have to like go add the birth time, and then you have to add another person, and then you have to like go back to the other page, and it's kind of a pain with the birth times on there. I have a page where you could literally do it with the birth times the way you do it without the birth times. But what I don't like about that page right now is that I can't get it to like give you guys the longitude and latitude automatically like it does in divinetimingdatabase.com. So it's just way easier. You just add it. You can just write your city in, and it pulls all that up for you. So until I sort that out, I just say go sign up for the database and register. It's free for the .com one. The .org one is where we match you, you know, with strangers. It's the dating app one. And that one is, there's a $15 entry fee, but you're grandfathered in right now through the end of the month to chat for the rest of your life and auto search for the rest of your life on there. So, but after that, there will be fees to chat. So definitely get in there as soon as you can, because there are people waiting in there for you to match with. And that's you sort of just going, it's sort of the equivalent of you know, going on a dating app and looking for someone, but based on the astrology. That's divinetimingdatabase.org. If you want to get there quicker, you can go to moonmatch.love. And even there, there's extras in the menu. You can click right over to the free database, which is divinetimingdatabase.com. So if any of you are confused about that, I hope I just made it clear for you. There's also celebrities in the .org site. So if you don't have a match in there yet, you might match with a celebrity, and you can kind of look up your synastry chart. It's right there. It's pretty cool. It took me, well, 5 years to build it all, but the past year since I kind of got closer, and now it's all coming together. It's almost done. So if you want to use the free compatibility report without the birth times, so again, somebody said to me, or a couple people like, well, you need the birth times. once you know which aspects are deal breakers and divorce aspects, which I've got most of them in there now, and excuse me because the definitions are a little muddied up. I have to go clean them up, but I did get most of the primary deal breaker and divorce aspects in there. So if you don't want to go create your free private database and you don't have the birth times, or you can literally go to divinetimingdatabase.com/stars, and I might create another domain kind of like moonmatch.love to help you guys get there quicker, like free report or something.com, but I haven't done that yet. So right now it's divinetimingdatabase.com/stars. I put everything in the description box. In the playback, I'll pin it in the comments, so you can just go click on it. It's all there. But basically, if you can go in there and you could say right now, you're like, well, I don't know what Madeline's talking about. And, I don't really want to buy, I don't want to go to rotation411.com and pay $40 to have her do it, or whatever the price is right now. So all you have to do is literally go to, I used to tell you to go to Cafe. You just go to divinetimingdatabase.com/stars and you put your birthday, their birthday, your names, and you hit enter, and it will automatically pull up whether you have deal breaker or divorce aspects. I think there's a couple of them. I don't know if I've got the Mars square Uranus ones in there yet, but I'm going to be working on that this week as soon as I finish one more thing on there, which is, so Cafe Astrology, when you run the free compatibility report without the birth times, you get an estimate of the moons sort of in the wheel, and it doesn't show up in the aspects, just like it won't on .com/stars, divinetimingdatabase.com/stars. I took it out of it automatically won't run your moon aspects without the birth times. But I'm trying, and my brain, just because I worked on this all day yesterday for you guys, and I'm going to start using it myself, because that way I don't have to use Cafe anymore for quick reference for my clients. And I'm going to add the AstroSeek tool in there, where it will give you the moon range. And I wanted to get on it last night, but I played with the wheel too much. So it might vary a little in the coming days and weeks. I'm definitely going to be cleaning up the descriptions, and the interpretations is what they call them. I call them descriptions because I feel like that's more what the word is. Interpretation, I'm like, what does that even mean, for a while? So I'm going to try to do what AstroSeek does, and it's actually a tool for me when I'm working with my clients, because I'm pulling up their charts as quick as I can. So I have to pull up a tab for each AstroSeek thing to get an unknown birth time, birth chart, and then it gives me a variance of where the moon would fall. And so sometimes I can confirm it 100% without the birth time. But I do need the place, so I'm going to go play with that. So hopefully in the next month or so, I might have to ask the programmer, Alan from AstroWin, I might have to ask him to help me with it, but I'm going to try to get it where it will give you that moon variance also, along with, so it'll be kind of like what AstroSeek does / what Cafe Astrology does. And again, this is a tool for me to use as an astrologist, so it's really cool for you guys. So definitely you don't need to go to, it does give you a median. So in my wheel, or actually in the list too, we have a list. So it's a little bit better than Cafe, the free Cafe astrology report already. It's not quite to the AstroSeek unknown birth time, but it's going to be there. So yeah, right now, if you go on divinetimingdatabase.com/stars and you don't have the birth times, which you couldn't enter them there anyway, you put your names and birth dates, and it will give you a median. So for me, it says my moon's at 19 degrees Virgo, but my moon is 25 degrees Virgo. So that's the median. So that day, the day I was born, the moon probably moved from 14 to, it's an average, it's a median. So it might tell you someone's moon is 2 degrees Leo and their moon's really in Cancer. So do be aware of that. But the free Cafe astrology report is the same thing, and it doesn't even really give you that much detail about the degree of the moon. So it's getting there, you guys, but definitely it's slightly better than the free Cafe astrology report already. And if you run it, you'll see automatically if there's any deal breaker or divorce aspects, as I consider them. So real quick, easy tool for you guys that don't have the birth times. I will not be referring you to Cafe Astrology anymore. So anyways, with that, and then if you go into divinetimingdatabase.com and you create, your free database, and you have your birth place and time, but you don't have somebody else's birth time, you just put 12 for them, and then it will kind of eliminate the moon aspects, and it will still give you all the rest of the aspects with your birth time. So you can still see how their planets are overlaying into your birth chart. You just can't see how yours are overlaying into theirs, if that makes sense. So anyways, let's dive into Saturn and Jupiter here. So if you're most likely, Saturn transits every 2.5 to 3 years through a sign, through all 12 signs. It happens every 27 to 30 years. So you'll have your Saturn return around your most of you are going to have it around your 29th or 30th birthday, but some people do have it as early as like their 27th birthday, which brings me to something I just want to touch on really quick. I do believe that the 27 Club, for those of you that don't know what that is, it's like all the celebrities that have passed away around the age of 27. I do have a theory about that. I just haven't had time to dig into all of their birth charts yet. But I have a theory that they have some sort of, like, they might have a, like something is going on with their Saturn, because they're not making it to their first Saturn return, and Saturn rules career. And so these are people, yes, they're artists, so there may be something to do with Venus there, but they are people, because like Venus square Saturn can show that you will not get married, you'll get married later in life, or if you get married before your first Saturn return, like for me, I have Venus square Saturn. I got married when I was 21. I got divorced at 24. So if you get married before your first Saturn return, Saturn won't support it. And Saturn is longevity and commitment. It's like the death, for better or for worse, the obligation of marriage. So if you have like Saturn square or opposition, or any kind of hard aspect to Saturn in your birth chart, this is just something that's useful for you guys to know now in your natal chart. And especially if you're, you know, in your early 20s, even if you like are with the love of your life, I would say to hold off and plan that wedding for after your first Saturn return. And if you want to pick like a good wedding date, I do have a video on that, and I have a package on rotation411.com. So you can search for that. Maybe I'll link it later for you guys. But, you know, say like you're 26 and you're engaged, and you know, we can look at your birth chart and see, like, should you wait a few more years, you know, or something. Anyways, so I do feel like those 27 Club people, they had this great career, because this might be happening with people that aren't artists or aren't or are not in the public eye as well. Like there could be like tech kids that blow up at 18, that or people that get rich or successful in career in other avenues, because they have this Saturn thing going on, and then they pass away before their first Saturn return, because it's not supported. So basically there's something going on with their Saturn where it's blowing them up, giving them massive career success, because Saturn doesn't really give you fame unless maybe it's on your midheaven or something. So Saturn is giving them massive career success. And then when they hit their first Saturn return, it's not supported in a way. This is my theory, that it's Saturn, or Saturn is sacrificing them, because he has a lot to do with like Cronus and the underworld, just like Pluto does, and he's karmic. So it could be, you know, something to do with their, like, okay, I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. I'm going to look at like all the 27 Club people's birth charts one of these days when I'm just kind of studying, and then I'm probably going to figure out what it is, and then we're going to do a video on it. So hopefully I'll get around to that in the near future. But the reason I bring this up is because if you have positive Saturn aspects with someone, like Saturn, and so we're talking Saturn to Saturn, or if you have positive Jupiter aspects with someone, and we're talking Jupiter to Jupiter, and we are going to get into the negative aspects as well, but it's those people that you have the